My name is Emily Austin, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to boil instruments to sanitize them for professional use. I'm in my home today, so things will look a little bit different than they should, and I'll explain to you step by step what you would be doing if you were actually in a sterile field situation to keep these items sanitized. I've got my hot water going so I can wash these. I have on gloves. If you were in a medical scenario, you would be using like sterile gloves, but these are just regular boxed gloves that I already have on. Again, you would wait till the moment you're about to do this to actually put these on. I'm going to be washing the items with soap and a scrubber. It's important to note right now I'm using just Dawn, but you would want to use a germicidal soap that actually is getting these instruments cleaned in the way they need to be. An example of that is the McKesson brand, which is made specifically for medical sterilization of tools. So I've got hot water. I also have my water boiling in the back to kind of get started. But when you're washing your instruments, you're going to be making sure, and again, none of this would be sitting on a counter or another area that is not sterile. Again, I'm just doing this at home, so this is our option. So I'm using this soap, and you would obviously not be using a Scrub Daddy. You would be using a scrubber that is, medically already sanitized for what you're doing. Make sure when you're going in to scrub these objects that you're getting into the ridges. So like right here, we're getting into that, and we're scrubbing them really, really well with that germicidal soap and hot water. Oops, my screen's going dim again. You're not going to be touching anything while you're doing this. That would ruin your sterile field. So we're scrubbing really, really well. We're getting that nice suds on them, and we're getting into all of the nooks and crannies. You want to make sure that when you're using soap on items such as your scissors, that you're getting in between the hinges. So we're going to go ahead and rinse these all off with water, which is step number 2. And again, you want to make sure you're giving these a very, very good scrub. Okay, so we're rinsing these off. We are going to be placing these instruments in a clean pan of water, which I have right here. You can tell that it is already boiling. So we're using this fork as an example of an instrument. So let's say that these are like surgical scissors. So these are an example of something we might need while doing midwifery care. So we're going to pretend that's what this is, but for now it's just a fork. We're putting this into boiling hot water, okay? And we are going to be propping up our tongs inside of the pot that is right here. And we're doing that so that way we can remove the tools. You want to have your water a little bit higher than I do. I just don't have as big of a pot as what we would actually be using. So you would want the water level to be even higher. And you would have these propped up so that way the bottom of the tongs is getting sterilized and boiled. So when you're taking it out, you're not breaking your sterile field. And this fork is in there right now. It's important to know that I already had this water boiling, waiting. And again, when you're doing this, again, my screen is going dim. But when you're doing this, you're not going to be touching anything and, touching your laptop or whatever. But just for today's example. So we've got this boiling right now. You're going to let this boil for 20 minutes. As you can hear, it's actually boiling right now. You can hear the fork kind of bouncing up and down in the water because it's boiling. So we're going to be removing the instruments with the sterile tongs, and we're going to put them on an open sterile field, which I'm not sure if you can see is this paper towel right here. A paper towel is not an example of an actual sterile field, but this is what we're using today. The reason why a paper towel is not a sterile field is because I have touched that with ungloved hand. It came from my kitchen, so I'm putting it down, I'm touching it, and like we've just completely broken sterile field. So once again, make sure that if you're doing this, you're actually using a sterile field, or this entire process was not, it was not worth it. And it's also important to note this is another method of the sanitation, but you can also use the oven method, and this particular way of doing this is for immediate use, meaning the products, once you have sanitized them, should not be placed in packaging after boiling. This would be good for just kind of an emergency situation. Midwifery care requires you to be very creative, and so if you were in a situation with a client, maybe just things happen, right? So we need to know how to do this, so that way if we had to, we could provide that care. It would be important to note you want to have like a timer going. This says 20 minutes, so we're just going to pretend beep, 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 the timer just went off. It has been 20 minutes. So these tongs have been propped up here, so that way the end is sanitary. And we are using that to grab, my screen just went blank again. No, again, don't touch anything while you're doing this, or that defeats the purpose. But you're grabbing your sanitary items that you have just boiled, your instrument, and you are taking out, holding the tong, and you are placing it onto your sterile field. And then you would be using these immediately afterwards. And that is my video about sterilizing instruments. Thanks for watching.